Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to OLC TV, this time for some more Stoneshard. Today we're going to be having a look at combat. The game is brutal, it's very easy to die the minute you set foot outside the town. You can get swamped, swarmed, and just generally overwhelmed with the sheer number of enemies, so we're going to look at a few tips that'll make fighting a damn sight easier in this game. I'll see you in it. First things first, before doing anything else in the game, you need to get your hands on a bow. Now, where you get the bow is in this building here, just north of the market in Osbrook. So what you want to do, walk up to the door and head in here. You'll see it's a nice military barracks with the town guard, and they have a huge supply of weaponry in here that you can steal to your heart's content. They don't seem to mind. When you go up to this thing here, you will find there is a bow here. Take it, equip it, buy some arrows from the carpenter in town as well if you need some arrows, and don't leave town unless you have that bow. So why is the bow an essential thing to have before you venture out of Osbrook? Well, it's one of the few items in the game that give you range damage no matter what class you play as. So of course the wizards, or if you've got a treatise and the skill points, you can get yourself some pyromancy spells that'll do range damage, but they don't actually have the same range as a bow does. And of course, if you don't have magic, like my character currently does, and Yorgrim does not start with any magic spells at all, it gives you the opportunity of doing damage at a distance before people get into melee combat. Another thing you should note is that sometimes you cannot shoot the bow. The reason why that is because they're behind cover or something like that that's just blocking line of sight. So what you can do is hold control and it will bring up this vision here. Now what that allows you to do is effectively just do an area shot. So you're just shooting an arrow into that area. You might miss like I just did then, but it allows you to get round pesky cover bugs that the game currently has in it. Before leaving town, you're going to want to check this guy. He is the Herbalist. He's in a hut just on the southern edge of Osbrook. If you go up to him and have a chat, see what he's selling, you'll see he has a whole selection of healing items. Herbs, tonics, potions, splints, all of that stuff. And they're pretty damn cheap. Now, every time I go out and end up in melee combat, I tend to take quite a lot of limb damage, so it's essential for me to take some splints, and I recommend taking 2 of them. They're only 15 gold each, and it's well worth it. It'll stabilize injuries to any selected body part, and if you couple that with things like healing salves, you'll be able to top up the healing and restoration of those areas very, very quickly. Now, the nice thing about the healing salves is, again, they're quite cheap. It's more expensive than a splint at 53, but they're multiple use. You get 3 uses out of them. So they're definitely worth taking. And I also like to take 2 because you're going to take damage when you're out there. You may not have massive damage that you need a splint to repair, but any damage you take is going to affect your total HP. So if you apply these, it'll allow you to get back up to your max HP faster. I also like to take a bandage. Now, I've had a little bit of damage, so I've used one, but they're usually 2 use, as you can see here, and they're only 8. I don't tend to take more than 1 because I've never found the need to have to dual use my bandage, but feel free to take more if you feel the need to. I also like to have a herbal extract because it will reduce pain at the expense of intoxication. Because you're going to have higher intoxication, it is worth having an antitoxin as well, just to nullify the effects of that toxin from the herbal extract and allow you to think more clearly in the game, prevent you from taking too much extra damage because you're intoxicated. Combat is hard in this game, and numbers of enemies can quickly get overwhelming. So if you remember to take a bow like I advised, you'll have a better chance of being able to pull this off than any other way. But what you want to do is take advantage of enemies' line of sight and aggro very intelligently. We're approaching a camp here, and we can see they have at least 3 goons knocking about. Now, we don't really want to fight 3 at once because we're going to take a lot of damage. We may win, but there's a high chance we'll die. Or there's just a high chance we'll take so much damage that we'll have to return to the village and heal up before we've actually managed to get anything done. So what we're going to do is see if we can encourage these people to get over here by shooting a few arrows at them You can see he's going to come down, but his friends are not going to join him. And it's absolutely fine if he sees us and looses a few shots at us. What we want to do is just move over here just a touch further, just to encourage him further and further away. There we go. Now he's going to move forward just a tiny bit more. Come on. There we go. We should be safe now. Now I'm going to switch to my melee because that's how my character is better equipped. We're going to take a little bit of damage as we advance for sure, but it's not the end of the world. There we go. Done. Dealt with. And we got some more loot for the party as well. Arrows back, short bow, nice. Going to make some money from that. Change back to our bow, and yes, another person has spotted me. So let's encourage them down this way. Come on. On you come. Now, this chap has no ranged weaponry. So here he comes. He's hiding behind a tree, unfortunately. So we can't quite see him. There he is. Damn, miss. One hit. Not bad. Nope. Change up. Little bit of combat, which we're going to win very, very easily. Again, it's just a nice one-on-one, and my character is very, very good at one-on-one fights. That should leave still two more. So again, loose an arrow up there. See if we can hit this chap. There we go. That's going to encourage him to come down and join us. We might be able to do enough damage to him anyway, because we have 3 hits. There we go. 4 hits. Yeah, he doesn't have much left. And if you want to know how well an enemy is doing, you can just right click on them and inspect, and that will show that he has 22% of his health left and a lot of energy. It will also show any skills they have that are relevant to the fight as well. Come on, little bit. There we go. All right, change up, and dead. Nice. And another falchion. Get some of my arrows back. This chap wants to play. He is absolutely welcome to come down this way. We are probably very low on arrows right now. We're doing some damage. He's going to keep on coming down this way, and we'll be able to pick all of these arrows up at the end as well, so it doesn't matter that we're going through them quite quickly. Pop a shield block. There we go. Shield bash to the face. There we go. Dead. And we've barely taken any damage, certainly nothing that's going to debilitate us for the rest of the mission. Simple rest and we'll heal up everything very, very quickly. And we have managed to completely clear out this camp just through the use of very clever aggroing. So you've been out, you've fought some fights, and you've managed to pick yourself up a handy selection of loot to make you rich. But what to do with it? Do you just run up to the first vendor you see and throw all of your stuff at him and shout, "Give me money"? No, what you want to do is sell your loot carefully to the correct vendor for the best profit. So I'll give you an example. We have a selection of loot here from whacking some bandits outside of town. Now we have this beautiful thing here, a crude falchion. You can see it's worth a decent amount of money, but you're not going to sell it for that amount of money, especially not if you chat to the butcher here and say, "What are you selling?" Because he will not buy it. So, who can you sell it to? Well, there's 2 people definitely you'll be able to sell it to. This fellow here and the blacksmith. So let's have a look and compare the prices. So he will buy it for 13. But if you look out here, the base value is 264. So you're getting what, 5% of the value for that? It's not the best deal. The blacksmith over here, however, he will buy it for 66. So bear in mind, if you want to make the best profit, sell it to the right person. And my final tip for combat is this: keep an eye on your sanity and your morale, because they can really, really affect you when you're out fighting in the wilds. So how do you check it? Press C, bring up the health tab and have a look here under psyche. You'll see morale and sanity. Now my morale is quite high, but were it to drop below 50%, I could be affected by negative mental effects. My sanity has dropped below 50%, so I will be affected by negative mental effects. And the one I'm currently being affected by is Masochism. Now, this does have a couple of bonuses to it, such as damage reflection has been increased and my pain limit has been increased. But this is at the cost of pain resistance going down and damage taken going up. So every time I get hit, it's going to hurt more and I'm going to take more damage from my health, which isn't a particularly good thing. So how do we cure all this stuff? Well, what we want to do is go back to the Herbalist, because he's a wonderful chap with cures for everything. Have a chat to him. And we're going to look for this thing here, Mind Ward. There are other herbs that will help you with morale, but this one does morale and sanity. And unfortunately, even if I eat these two, it's not going to put me up above 50% because my sanity is that low. But simply by eating them, you'll see your sanity and your morale tick up, which will eventually, when you get above that 50% mark, cure these mental states. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's combat tips and tricks for Stoneshard. We hope you found them super useful because it is a particularly difficult game out there in the wild, especially if you're new to it. If you have enjoyed these tips and tricks, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. We are updating our tips and tricks for this game all the time, especially every time they drop an update. Also, if you have any tips and tricks of your own, please feel free to drop them in the comments section below. Also, if there's any other ideas you would like us to cover for this game, it's super great hearing them down below as well, and we'll always consider to do new videos with any ideas that show up there. But that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.